Blog Talk Radio.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
People of the earth, your potential adjust the volume on your radio set. Wednesday night. Time for Paranormal Kool-Aid.
Sydney B. Smith is joining us. She's sticking her neck out and admitting she wants to become a giraffe woman. She has attempted to extend her neck by encasing it in 11 copper rings. Sydney is also a paranormal investigator and is fascinated with the paranormal and the unknown. In the second hour, we welcome Robert L. Murch. He is one of the world's foremost collectors, historians, and an expert on Ouija boards. He often found inaccurate and poorly researched articles which inspired his extreme research methods and tracking down descendants of all those involved with the Ouija board. To date, he has discovered the grave sites for William Fogg, Helen Peters, and many, many more. On the Paranormal Kool-Aid, oh yeah.
83% of people surveyed say they have experienced a paranormal event. The question is it real or not?
People around the world report seeing something that scares them. And they say they've got the evidence to prove it. On video, in photographs, on audio tape. Voices that seem to come out of nowhere.
This is again another opportunity to scientifically prove your existence.
Oh yeah.
Dead Air Paranormal Radio brings you Wednesday nights on the crazy kooks over at Paranormal Kool-Aid.
What the hell is his name?
Chris Medina. Anything else, guys?
Chandra Stahl.
Slower, Chandra.
Chandra Stahl.
Faster.
Chandra Stahl.
That was good, Chandra.
Hand in your pants when you made me do that.
Oh yeah.
Jamie Geller. Jamie Geller. Jamie Geller.
Okay, Scott, your turn.
Chandra Stahl. Ready? Okay, Scott Grunwald.
Besides drinking Kool-Aid, there's a lot you can do with it.
Oh yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's awesomeness version of Paranormal Kool-Aid. We got the whole gang here tonight, and I'm excited. Let's see. Let's do a roll call. Jamie, are you with us tonight?
I'm here, Chris.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Miss Chandra, are you back?
Oh, I'm here. But I know you can't live without me, baby.
That's right. Scotty, are you there?
Hello. I am here tonight for the duration, if you will.
Ooh, sweetness. And everybody knows when you get the four of us together, the Kool-Aid tastes really wacky. So tonight's going to be a really cool night. But we've got some great people We've got Sydney Smith coming on first. We're going to talk about her investigations. She wants to talk about demons, fighting with giraffes. I don't know. We've got a lot to talk about with Sydney. And then in the second hour, we've got our friend Robert Murch, who is a Ouija board collector, and he knows just about everything there is to know about Ouija boards. So that's going to be an exciting night. So I can't wait. Jamie, what's new in your world this past week?
Well, not a whole lot, Chris. My boyfriend and I went to this railroad festival last weekend. And that was fun. And my boyfriend's actually sitting right here next to me listening to the show. And other than that, I'm not very interesting, so I don't have much more to say.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. And everybody, in case you did not catch it, you got to go on the Paranormal Kool-Aid page and check out the picture that she just posted. Everybody needs to be silent. Chandra.
Yes.
Tonight you were supposed to see someone in concert. Is that correct?
Oh, I screwed that up. Are you going to pick on me now? Yes, I was supposed to go see Sugar Ray, and I screwed up the date on the ticket, and it's next weekend. I screwed up. So tonight I really couldn't miss because I think there's
I tell you what, we could just chalk it up as the fact that you were so excited to see Mr. Sugar Ray sing that you just sped up the dates. That's all.
Are you kidding, Mark McGrath? I want to lick his tattoos. Is that okay? Did I say that out loud? Did I say that out loud? Oh, my God, yeah. I did.
Is tattoo a code word for something else?
Hey, you can open the door for everything, but he's a married man, so what can I say?
and the one and the only Mr. Scott Grunwald. Welcome back, my brother.
Hey, I'm taking my ukulele tour. I just got back from the Netherlands. So it's been really good, man. Ukulele's been paying off. I'm doing really well. So hopefully my CD will be out pretty soon with Zach Pagan's hair. And, pretty much, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm just mow the lawn. I guess that's exciting for me. So
how's the remodeling going? You guys finished?
Yes, my 7-foot the TARDIS shower is done. So I have a 7-foot shower for me and Ben Hansen. And did I say that out loud? I'm just like Chandra, I guess. Maybe me, Chandra, Mark Graff, Ben Hansen, all of us. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of it.
Wait a minute, that's my fantasy. Can I just step back for a second so I can think about it?
Yeah,
I might get a little distracted tonight.
Don't need to pleasure yourself to my voice. That's okay. I like that. Yes, thank you. No, everything's going well. We tiled the floor. I've actually put in a dungeon in my house.
Nice.
We've been catching. My wife has been going out and getting me a lot of prostitutes to kill. So it's been, regular stuff here at the Grunwald House.
That's awesome. I can't wait to visit.
You should come over.
I am. I definitely am. Next time. Next time, for sure. For sure. And so tonight, Scott just informed me that he's working on some songs, and I cannot wait until we get to hear some of his new stuff. I can't wait. Ukulele versions of anything sung by Scott is just
great.
Class A. It is.
Yeah, everything from Jay-Z all the way to Liberace. It's just there's no boundary with the ukulele.
Heck no, especially when you trade off piano for ukulele strings. That's genius.
Or the skin flute. I think he was mastered both those. So.
Wow. Now doing it at the same time by yourself, that's mastery.
Yes. I might get one of those harmonica holders and then go take it out on the street, like in front of my house.
That would be incredible. Incredible. So, Jamie, Miss Jamie, we've been talking a little bit about all the things that are going on in Paranormal Kool-Aid land. We've got our Facebook page going, and just to remind everybody, today is Wednesday. Every Wednesday night, you got to put your PKA selfie on our Facebook page. Isn't that right, Jamie?
That's right. I did.
All right.
So,
I know you put one on your page, but we got to see ours.
I'm learning. I need a little help. Maybe Chandra can come over and give me a hand. I'm not quite.
I would handle you any day, baby.
You are all over the place. Talk about you and Jamie both, and all the people involved in Paranormal Kool-Aid. You guys post crazy, awesome stuff. It's like countdown 7 days away, countdown 6 days away, 5 days, all the way down to like 30 seconds to get your ass over here. It's like, I'm impressed. It's nothing like I've ever done. It's like, yeah, I just come watch me. But you guys are amazing, and I'm going to thank you guys for all the work that you do, because I don't do it.
Oh, that's sweet. You're welcome.
Yay.
Yes. Just to let you guys know, our guest is running a little bit behind. I don't know if it's on our end or her end, or I don't know what's going on. But Sydney, if you are listening, we are trying to call you. So please just let us know what's going on. You can message us on Facebook. So Jamie, we were talking a little bit earlier in the week via Facebook message about investigations on our. Just so that everybody knows, we have like an ongoing chat that goes, week after week with, we just throw out ideas, and it's really just a big perverted version of chat. That's basically what it always boils down to. But we were talking a lot about doing some, trying to get together and do an investigation, all of us together. And Jamie, I know that there are some places that you had been really, really wanting to go see. Why don't you let everybody know some of those places that you kind of, I guess, your wish list.
My wish list. Okay. Well, there's a place here where I live, and I believe it's called Waverly Mansion, and I want to go check that one out. But we were talking earlier, Chris, about Bobby Mackey's. I want to kind of bring it up because you feel like that shouldn't be my first investigation.
Right.
Why is that? Why?
Being that the history of the place. I feel I can handle it. I feel it would be a great experience, but that would be on the top of it would be up there on the list. And there's some other places around here. There's not a super lot in my area, so you have to travel a little bit. But I just wanted to bring that up with Bobby Mackey's. I mean, have you ever been to Bobby Mackey's, Chris?
No, I haven't, and it's not because of the history. It's about the fact that it's like starting your first investigation should be really boring. And and the analogy that I could give is like if you go fishing for the first time and your first trip is out, deep sea fishing, and you catch a great white shark. The very first thing you hook is a great white shark. Everything after that is less than a great white shark. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was talking about. Is it's not the fact that it's the place. The place is probably one of the most phenomenal, cool places you could ever go to as an investigator. But it really kind of it sets you up for everything else to be less than Bobby Mackey's.
True. It's a good point.
Let me say this, Chris. What if you go to a minor, unknown location, but you get the most phenomenal piece of evidence, then everything else will pale in comparison. So, what would be the difference actually? Because no matter where you go, there is that one chance that you'll get, the holy grail of evidence,
Absolutely right. But here's the big difference. If you go to the one place in your town and you get the most phenomenal piece of evidence, it's not going to cost you a lot of money to do that.
True.
Yeah. And that's an experience. If you go and you realize, if you're the one that goes into a location and you get that $1 million piece of evidence, you know what? That's like luck. I mean, that's seriously, because You can go to 10 places and not get anything before you get something. If you go to your first place and catch something on the first time, wow, that's amazing. Scott, I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, it's really a strange dynamic. There's a theory that they love the newbies when you go in there because you change the dynamic. Because they're nervous, there may be a little bit of fear, anxiety. All this happens to you in your first investigation. When really we just sit in there for hours and hours and do EVPs and usually get nothing. But all this energy that a new person, a newbie, or a fresh meat, if you will come into an investigation. It raises something. And so they get touched or something like that, and then it kind of wrecks it for them, because then the next time they go out, it's like they've lost that energy. They're excited still, but that energy is lowered a little bit. So when you bring something to the table, like I love bringing new people on investigations, especially non-believers, because they change something to the investigation. So yeah, it's a weird thing. If you get something, like I walked to Wolf Manor and something happened to me, and then I came back a couple weeks later and nothing happened to me. I was like, what happened? Well, I broke it. You know what I mean? I didn't. What happened? So it's a hobby. Know that you want to get into it, and watch how much money you spend on equipment if you're getting into this right now. But it's kind of nice to bring a new person along, especially maybe somebody who would a woman, and they could make it work. Right.
Well, speaking of women and speaking of investigating, we've got Sydney in the queue. So, Wild Bill, if you go ahead and let's bring Sydney in. Well, hello, Sydney, and welcome to the Paranormal Kool-Aid.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm really excited. This is something I know that you and I, when Scott had first mentioned, you to come on the show, I know that we talked a little bit towards the beginning, and I know that we had some schedule changing and this, that, and the other. But I'm really excited today is finally here, and we get to hear all about you and all about your everything exciting that's been going on with you as of late. Those of you that are out listening in Paranormal Kool-Aid land, Sydney Smith is an investigator who's been in the field for a while, and she's been known as a couple of things and that, whatever. But Sydney, why don't you give our listeners the quick version of who you are and why you chose to be a paranormal investigator?
Okay. Well, the quick version of why I am a paranormal investigator would be that I grew up with a natural talent to connect to the paranormal world. And later on, just natural psychic abilities that I realized I got it from my mom. And so the investigating part was I wanted to see how deep I could go psychically, because it was charging my battery. I noticed that every time I do an investigation, it's like this electrical charge when there is activity. And I noticed that my talent just gets stronger every time. So if I go more than a couple of months without investigating, it feels like I'm kind of suffering a little bit. Like I need that charge. So that is why, along with that, this is completely random and not so much paranormal related, but I had this obsession with the Burmese long neck women in Thailand. So I'm a bold person, and I acted on my fascination and obsession by starting to wear rings around my neck to elongate my neck, just as those women did. So now I go to investigations, and I guess the media calls me Giraffe Woman / paranormal investigator. So I just decided to combine the both.
All right, awesome. I want to remind everybody that you're listening to the Paranormal Kool-Aid and that we broadcast live every Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio and Ghost Tales TV. If you want to call in and you have any questions for Sydney, give us a call at 646-929-2384. And don't forget, we're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Podomatic right now. Speaking of your rings, Sydney, I want to start off by asking you, have those rings that you have on your neck, do they attract spirits? Do they make your investigations more interesting, I guess? Do they bring out the spirits, the connections?
That is a very common question that people ask me regarding the rings and if it increases activity. And I feel just as humans are curious about it and approach me, so are animals and so are spirits. So I do feel an increase because I realize that I'm doing something very different, and I'm so comfortable and content with who I am that the energy I give off just brings in more.
Hey, Sydney, Scott Grunwald, how are you?
Hi, Scott.
Now, I've done investigations with you, and we have used lots of we've used mousetraps. I mean, we've done a lot of cool stuff together, trigger objects, if you will, and I really like the question about the rings and how it goes to the paranormal. I got a question. I don't know if it's known by too many people, but you actually sat in the room where Jim Morrison, right, from the Doors, right?
That is correct.
Now, what happened that night? What was the thing with Jim Morrison? I mean, how cool is that?
Well, I've been a fan of the Doors my whole life, and so sitting in the Alta Cienega motel room of that Jim Morrison spent a lot of time in it. I mean, it was incredible. You could feel his energy everywhere. And we did get EVPs, but I couldn't tell you if that was Jim Morrison or not. There's a lot of residual energy in that room because people are constantly going in and out and leaving their marks all over the walls. There's an area of blank space. It is completely covered with people's writings and drawings everywhere. And
do you think that because it is Jim, because it is there a passion for, say, music? And with you, it was the relationship you have with your mom and how this came about and the battery. Do you think that music is a good, device maybe for the paranormal to attract the other side? At least maybe a common interest in a certain musician. Do you think that would raise the paranormal energy?
Absolutely. And I can tell you an example where I had to do a seance a few months ago for a friend of ours that passed away from cancer. So we went into her apartment a couple days after she passed away. And we started doing things like playing Madonna, old school Madonna, like the songs Material Girl, Like a Virgin. And the activity dramatic, like the K2 just started going nuts. And the chandelier started moving.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. It was pretty amazing.
I
wish I had thought of that when I was at the Doors, when I was at the motel. I wish I played some of that stuff. Maybe Jim would have come out.
Wow. Sydney, this is Chris again, and just want to remind everybody that if you have any questions for Sydney, you can ask them in the chat, and Jan would be, get them to us so that way we can go ahead and start asking, get them to Chandra so she can start asking you questions. But Sydney, right before we jump to break, we come back with some of the chat questions and get back with Chandra. I want to know, and it's going to be a really quick question because we got we're coming up against a hard break at 30. But when you talked about K2s and you talked about the evidence and you talked about being an investigator and science, it's really difficult, I think, for somebody to take the metaphysical side of investigating and merge it with the scientific side of investigating. How do you merge the two? What's the best method you've seen so far and use yourself to be the best investigators you can by merging the two?
I say personal experience is the best way to merge the two. You know, I think the paranormal world is a realm that technically we're not supposed to tamper with. We're live. We need to focus on this world and not the afterworld. So it's very hard to scientifically get that $1 million piece of evidence, because when you actually experience something, that can't always carry through to an audience watching behind a TV. But I find that there is and I'm sure Scott and all of you feel this too, you know, that prickly energy that goes down your neck all the way down and like your hairs are standing up. And then, like I was saying about the seance, the chandelier moving, and then the K2 going crazy when it hadn't even been lighting up until that point. So if we take footage of that and we show it to an audience, they're not going to believe it. They're going to try to find any way to debunk it. And a lot of times, this is not, sometimes it is debunkable, but sometimes it's not. So it's the personal experience which sets itself apart.
Yeah, I know. It's really difficult. I think one of the hardest things to do is to draw a line and to pick which side you're going to be on, whether you're going to be on the scientific side or you're going to be on the metaphysical side or just the whole skeptic side. Which way are you going to go, and which way do you start your type of investigation, and how you present that to either the people that you're doing this investigation for, or the general public. If you want to show them, hey, look, I'm an investigator, and this is what I've got. It's really difficult. We're getting ready
no
to
one wants
start
to believe it.
Well, it's a difficult thing to believe, and especially if you kind of have to take it from both sides. You almost have to pick a side and then let that person do it. And that's one of the hardest things to do as an investigator, is to try to prove to somebody who doesn't want to believe that there is. And I think everybody that's ever investigated would have to agree. And in fact, we were having this discussion a little bit earlier. The skeptic is probably the coolest person to have on an investigation, besides the newbie, because usually it's the skeptic that has one of the best experiences of the night.
Well, I agree with you on that. Because usually the newbie, they get overly excited, like they hear a creak and, that was a paranormal experience, They jump at every little thing, where the skeptic is calmer because they don't want to believe it. So the information that they're receiving is probably more accurate than the newbie.
Possibly, yeah, because the newbie probably just reacts. But we're getting ready to let's take this quick break so that we can come back after this break, and it's time to pay the bill and let Bill play his break. We'll be back in just a short minute.
Next week on Paranormal Kool-Aid, Danny Bigbeard, paranormal researcher and developer who created EchoVox by accident, a real-time amplified recording system, and also the creator of SV1 Spirit Box, will be joining us live to discuss his software and his paranormal research. In our second hour, the awesome Pete Stegman will join us live. He's the co-founder and lead investigator at Parahunter. Pete Stegman invented the POV glasses that have been used by the TAPS team on Ghost Hunters, and also used by Bill Murphy and many, many more. All next week on the Paranormal Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. did you want to hear that again? Well, Paranormal Kool-Aid is available to replay in our archives. Just visit our Facebook page after the show, and the link will be posted. Oh, yeah.
This is Dr. Lynn, and I'm listening to Paranormal Kool-Aid, and it's a very cool show.
Welcome back to Paranormal Kool-Aid, everybody. Glad that everybody, the chat room's going strong tonight. And we have Sydney V. Smith and Chandra Stahl and Scott and Chris with us. They're all having a great discussion, paranormal investigating. And I want to start it off with one of our chat questions here. A lot of people in the chat room are interested in the rings on your neck. This is kind of a combined question here. We have from Cindy and Joseph. I'm going to combine it here. One, they want to know if you're worried about the possible health issues that you may have from the rings, and if the rings hurt you and bother you at all.
I would say with the rings, I have been doing a lot of research since I was a little kid about the possible effects. And it's not something I just impulsively, I just can't believe I acted on it. But once I did, there was no going back. And I would describe it as going to the dentist and getting your braces tightened. It's not comfortable. It kind of hurts for a little bit. So when I add a ring, which every now and then I do, that is what it feels like. And I have been consulted by doctors that have examined my neck. The only thing that they said was wrong was I have discoloration of the skin because I have rings around my neck all the time. So the rest of my body is tanner than my neck. Also, I get occasional bruising around the collarbone. But my health is fine, so don't see any reason why I should stop right now.
Okay.
Hey, Sydney, Scott Grunwald, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, Scott.
You know what? I've been a naked investigator for a long time, and I feel that using our bodies as a piece of equipment. I was fortunate to investigate in the nude with you.
That's right.
And go ahead. I'll let you go. I'll just let you run with that.
Well, Scott, I was really interested in his tactics because he thinks outside of the box. It's not the typical. Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty out there myself. So we were talking and we thought, well, what would happen if we got naked? Would it increase? And it was crazy because I held the K2 in my hand and I said, do you want me to take my clothes off? The K2 starts spiking. I mean, it's making sounds I've never heard before.
Yes.
So then I pass it over to Scott, and he says, do you want me to take my clothes off? And the K2 stops, no activity at all. So then he hands it back to me, and I said, do you want me to take my clothes off? So it starts spiking again. And then I pass it back to Scott, and he asked again, do you want me to take my clothes off? And it stops. So we were just laughing about that. And we had multiple EVPs that night. I mean, it was insane. I mean, the energy, I was charged for the next month. I was good to go after that night.
I really appreciate
anybody
that
after
too.
Anybody after seeing Scott Grunwald naked has got to be charged for at least a while.
Well, no,
it
was
really strange because it wasn't really a vulnerability. I mean, it wasn't an embarrassing or a sexual thing. It was more of a vulnerability thing. But whatever that was in that place that night, did not want to see me naked. And nor did our the people that I guess we can call it production crew. I don't know if we're talking about that yet. But we did take our clothes off, and everything increased that night. It was amazing. It was like So I know if anybody's out there listening, take it from Sydney and Scott. Take your clothes off on an investigation. You got to try it once. Isn't that right, Cindy? You got to try it.
You got to try it. I mean, imagine if you were a ghost and someone took their clothes off. I mean, I would I'd be reacting kind of. I'd be blowing up people's K2s myself as long as they're hot, and you know.
I would, or even not hot. I'd show them a sign of my penis.
Or not hot. It's just like, sure, go. I mean. You can still interact with some of these spirits just the way you can with your best friend. That's sometimes there's no difference. It's just the way you connect and the way you try to communicate and your tactic. And getting naked always works.
Right. And you know, one of the things that I've always wondered, and this before I throw it to Chandra, because Chandra's got some questions for you, is just as as investigators do. There's always a natural progression of investigating or trying to go to the next level of creating that trigger to make them act. And I mean, I'm wondering, has there ever been, or does anybody know, has anybody ever tried, taking that nakedness a step further and trying affection in an intimate scene or setting between two people and seeing what kind of reaction that goes after you've confirmed there is definitely spirit in the room or in the area. And Chandra,
you got a room full of people doing EVPs, and you got people having sex in the other room. If I was a ghost, I don't know which. I think I know which way I would go.
Yeah, I see that would be great. It's like going to the small video centers in the red light part of your town, and which room would you choose? The one where people are standing around asking what street you lived on, or the room where people are getting busy?
Exactly. That's the thing. I mean, people forget that it's not always a creepy and scary and frightening thing. I mean, there's a lot of sense of humor as well that we find, and Scott and I always like to look for that. He will always be the one that will ask the question, do you like chocolate cake? Where other people are saying, so how did you die? Did somebody murder you? I mean, some of them know they're dead and don't want to be reminded. So if you go in there and you make them laugh, then you feel good as well.
Right. Chandra, are you ready? Are you there, sweetie?
I am here. Hi, Sydney. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Chandra.
Hey, I'm so glad you followed me on Facebook. That was awesome. You are gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Now, what's making me curious is, how do you feel about past lives? Because I have that feeling that you've got some kind of past life connection that is drawing you to the culture, that culture that has the ring, the rings, like, is it Indonesian?
Right.
And do you believe that maybe that somewhere in a past life that it's possible that it's drawing you?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced that there is reincarnation. And my reason is because of all the spiritual activity and some that linger for hundreds of years. So my question was always, if there's reincarnation, then why this? Why haven't they turned into somebody else? So I'm not discounting reincarnation, but I'm not convinced of it. And if there is reincarnation, and then I would say that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I just try to like wonder what draws you, because you're so into it, like you just felt the absolute desire, and I thought maybe is it possible, like a possession, in a sense, like something's possessing you into the need to do it.
Well, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Because my mom, I was talking to her the other day, and she recalls that when I was a kid, I would pretend to be a giraffe, and I would stretch my neck and then start laughing about it. And it became, in middle school, they were calling me Giraffe Girl. And I never thought it would come to this, and my family is pretty blown away as well. But I tried tattooing, I tried the facial piercings, and nothing satisfied my hunger. And until I began the neck elongation, then suddenly I took the nose ring out, and I finally got filled for what I was looking for.
Well, there may be a type of connection of like the Native American belief of your spirit animal. Is it possible that might be reasoning behind it?
Hey, I have a crazy story. This happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Go for it.
I was filming with a German TV show. They did a story on me, and they took me to a zoo. They took me to the giraffe side, and there were tons of kids and tons of parents, and somehow out of about 100 people, I got an entire family of giraffes to come up to me. Like, I started calling out to them, and I put my energy, I took all the energy I had in my body, and I just focused, and I threw it at them, and they all turned their heads and looked at me and came up to me. And we have footage of that on camera. And the show, I think it's airing tomorrow in Germany. When I get a link, I'll post it. But so they're referring to the whole Giraffe Woman. I mean, I seem to be accepted into the giraffe tribe as well. So maybe I'm a giraffe whisperer. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spirit animal. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Now I actually have a chat room question.
Sure.
From an Alex Shapiro. If you took the rings off, what does your head do? Is your head uncomfortable without the rings? Do you have to keep it up, or does it bend to the side? Does it hurt your posture?
It feels uncomfortable to take the necklace off. Just the way my head is held high when it's encased in the rings. If you take the necklace off, my neck is still like that. The chin is still up high because it's being kept in the same position. And my neck starts to feel weak, and it kind of freaks out, and I miss the support of the necklace. So for a long amount of time, I can't go without it. However, for traveling reasons, I had a neck corset designed, which is like a cloth corset version of the necklace, which just supports my neck, because you can't get through metal detectors when you go to the airport with the rings on.
I can imagine. But it doesn't cause you, like, how do you sleep at night? Do you have to sleep with it on?
I have been, for the most part, but sometimes I rarely take the necklace off because it's not easy to put back on. So it's just
I can't imagine.
So
we have another chat room question for you, Sydney. This is from Paranormal Anna. She wants to know, how does society perceive what you're doing with the ring? How does your family, how does everybody perceive it?
With my neck?
Yeah, and your family and friends decided to do it.
My family is not happy about it because I actually have a degree in acting. So their hopes and expectations for me were that I would come out to LA and go to auditions and this and that. And instead of doing those things, I started focusing on my neck and stretching it. And you can't go into an audition wearing rings on your neck unless that's what the role calls for, which is uncommon. Other than that, I'm not getting a whole lot of negative reactions. I go out in public, and for the most part, people have positive things to say. Some people ask me, where they can get it done because they want to stretch their neck too. So I could be starting a fashion trend. Who knows?
Very cool. Very cool.
I don't recommend that anybody do what I'm doing because I am fully aware of the circumstances and consequences. So I don't want people to think that I am trying to encourage this because it's not a comfortable way of living if you don't have the right mind for it.
Well, you see this in other countries, but you don't. Are you the only one, like in the United States, that does this, or is there other people that you've connected with too?
As far as I know, I'm the only one in the U.S. There was a French necklace designer that hit me up after the Huffington Post did a story on me. This guy makes rings that are beautiful, and but he does it for fashion reasons. It's not a cultural thing for him. He was selling it to Christian Dior, and then I saw pictures of the models wearing it on the runway, and he asked if I would wear his rings. And I told him no, because then I would be just another one of his thousands of girls wearing his rings when I'm doing my own thing. And this is not about, Versace or I'm going to wear this necklace for 15 minutes on the runway. It's got a whole lot more meaning behind it.
Do you wear the rings on an investigation all the time, or do you ever take them off on an investigation?
Well, I didn't start wearing the rings full time until not long ago. I mean, so I've been investigating without the rings too.
Oh, okay. One of the other chat questions we got was from Christina Nelson. She wants to know, do you think some of the energy during a seance is our own energy manipulating such things as the chandelier moving?
Well, spirits manifest off our energy. So yes, they can't do it on their own the way they can when there are people in the room. And the thing is that they can only last about. Usually after 30 minutes, they get tired and they stop communicating with you because it takes up a lot of energy. But that one night when we did the seance, we got Noe, our friend that passed away, we got her to be active with us for a whole entire hour. And then after the chandelier was moving, she got tired and the K2 stopped. The chandelier stopped, and the prickly energy was gone. And that's when we knew that she was done communicating, so we stopped for the night.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, one of my questions I have is, how do you think we can make ourselves worthy and attractive targets for ghostly interest when we go on investigation?
Well, you got to open your mind because we all have natural psychic talent. I'm not claiming to be the only one. The only difference is for some reason I naturally have an open mind. So it's easier for me. But if you are closed-minded, then I would suggest going out frequently to investigations and meditating. When you meditate, you can get past those inner walls that are blocking things from the spiritual world to come through to you. So meditation is an excellent device.
Awesome. Chris, you got a question for Sydney?
Well, yeah, actually, it's kind of one of those things that, I kind of feel like we, because of our issues with getting you into the show as quickly as as we wanted to. I want to ask you first of all, if you can, you're more than welcome to join us into the second hour where we're going to have Robert Murch on, who's a Ouija board expert, and we're going to talk to him in the second hour. So if you can, you're more than welcome to stay on with us. But what I'd like to know is what's coming up in Sydney's world. do you have anything that you want to promote or plug that's coming up that all of the Paranormal Kool-Aid listeners would like to hear about?
Well, I'm combining. I'm working on my paranormal project that I'll be shopping around, and Scott is a part of that too. So maybe keep your eyes out for that. I'm still tidying everything up and adding more footage, and other than that, I'm going to be out there investigating, and maybe I'll run into some of you.
Sweet. So I guess I'm going to have just a rapid-fire question. I haven't done this for a while, so this is what I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to ask you a really quick question, and I want you just to answer the first thing that pops into your head. Okay?
Okay.
And we're going to do this. We'll just do this a couple of minutes, okay?
Sure.
All right, you ready? Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Pizza or steak?
Steak.
K2 or digital voice recorder?
Digital voice recorder.
Video or photo?
Photo.
Africa or Asia?
Asia.
Intelligent or residual?
Intelligence.
Scott or Aaron?
Scott.
Hey.
All right. My son just threw me off because he hears me, and the first thing out of his mind is Scott. That's hilarious. He already knows who he is. Okay, here we go. L.A. or New York?
New York.
Bob Mackey's or Waverly Hills?
Waverly Hills.
EVP or my son. Hold on a second, guys. No, you're throwing me off. My son here is he's feeding me questions to ask you right now, Sydney. Sorry about that.
Okay.
EVP or K2 hit?
EVP.
What's your favorite EVP question?
Do you need help with anything?
Okay.
I know that.
So with that, no, that's okay. With that, I'm going to ask you, what's the best EVP response you've ever gotten?
I was in a haunted parking garage, and rumors were going around at work that it's haunted. So I went to check it out, and I felt the prickly energy that I mentioned before. And I asked, "Do you need help?" And they said it was and it clear as day, a woman saying yes.
Wow.
I'm feeling energy right now just talking about it. I mean, I believe I actually helped her cross over because since that day, there's nothing more has happened, and that was months ago. She was responsive to other questions, too, not just that one. But I find that if you ask, do you need help, then a lot of times in my experience, they do respond with something.
So if you had the opportunity to go to any location in the world, where would you go?
Any location. I have already been there. Queen Mary. That's where I wanted to go over anything.
Wow.
All
right.
But I'd like to go everywhere else. I love it all. But I accomplished my fantasy place.
Nice. I thought it was going to be anywhere Scott's at.
Yeah,
that too, because he's gone to Wolf Manor, and I haven't even been there yet.
They're tearing it down. They're tearing down the Wolf Manor.
Oh no. And I wish I could investigate that Sharon Tate mansion, but that got torn down a long time ago as well. And I would love to go to the Spawn Ranch, where the Manson family was living, but I heard a guy with a big rifle guards it, and he'll shoot you if you trespass. So no going there.
I'm pretty sure there's some convincing. Anybody with a shotgun has got to have something they like.
Also, the Hollywood sign. There's a woman that committed suicide years ago, and people have seen full-body apparitions of her late at night. That would be cool, too.
Do you ever wonder why ghosts always, that when you see a full-bodied apparition, they always have clothes on?
Always.
And why is it like a white robe a lot of times?
Yeah, what's that all about? I don't know. All righty, one day I just like to, to see that one person that died, just wearing the goofiest outfit. That's what I want to see. Maybe it was Halloween.
I want to see that too. Like corduroys and polka dot shirt. It's something ridiculous.
Right. What about people that drown? How come you don't see them in their bathing suits?
How do you know? Maybe you do. Or people have said they're naked, the ones that drown.
Right. Well, Sydney, it has come to the end of our first hour. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a short break, our mid-show break. And I want to thank you for coming on to the show with us tonight. It's been exciting, and I do need to let you know that you are welcome on this show anytime. And anytime we have a great guest like you, we always like to ask them to please, do a real quick promo for us. So could you do that so that way when we go back and edit the show, we can pull out your promo and, you just say, this is Sydney Smith, and you're listening to the Paranormal Kool-Aid, and you kind of add.
Sure.
You can even do like a really cool "oh yeah" at the end.
All righty.
Okay, here we go.
When.
You're ready. Go whenever you want.
This is Sydney Smith, and you are listening to Paranormal Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. How was that?
That was perfect. That was actually perfect. On the first take, also. Now I know why Scott likes to get naked and investigate with you.
she's got a lot to offer, the naked investigation.
Maybe you guys will see it soon.
Yeah, that would be great. Love to see that.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. We guys, it's Paranormal Kool-Aid. We'll be back after this short break. We're coming back with Robert Murch, going to be talking about Ouija boards and collections and all kinds of cool stuff. A lot of great, fascinating facts. We'll see you all in just a short break.